How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
You guys are general life.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV here in the Bets TV studios in Southern California. I'm Preston Johnson, hanging out with Qwan Young. He is my co-host, my producer, giving you his wave. It's Tuesday, his favorite day of the week. We still haven't gotten to the bottom as to why, but I will start with this, Qwan. By the way, we take your calls throughout the show. You tell us what your favorite bets are. We track them, and we give away the winner at the end of each month. Whoever has the best ROI, a bunch of cash. 661-515-BETS. Bunch of people are already on hold. We'll get to your calls, I promise. We're also going to talk over a couple college football totals. There aren't a lot this week when I went through my numbers versus the market and any discrepancies remaining this morning. And we'll maybe get into a little NBA if we have time. But we need to start before we take calls. I know there's like 5 people that are already on hold. But last night there was a phenomenal game in the NFL, a not so phenomenal baseball game because I'm a Dodgers fan. But Qwan, did you watch at any point? I know you're a busy man. Did you watch Lamar Jackson? Did you watch the NFL game? Did you see what happened last night? And do you recall that we mentioned last week, shout out Spreadopedia and Whale Capper, that Lamar was still 25-1 to win the MVP before this game? We talked about it last week. We said, hey, they're going to be pretty big favorites going forward for the remainder until they could be like 9-1, 10-1 range. And he'll be in the mix just because of that. Plus, his stats were already unreal. Then he did what he did last night, set his personal career records in multiple facets of the game. Crazy comeback. Analytically, they played everything correctly, and he finally figured out he could just throw the ball. Didn't even have to run, which is a level Lamar's never been. So, what were your first thoughts on that? Are you I know you're a Stafford guy because that's your preseason bet, that's your boy, but Lamar at 25-1 last week. I hope people got down on that. You're shouting. It's all right. He's getting his mic set. You're already so out on Lamar. You got to turn everything back to Stafford that you can't. He unplugged it because I probably asked him to do something right before we went live, and then
Here we go. All right,
good.
I'm gonna be a big hater here.
Wow.
Yeah, surprising. He had a great game. Rushing 3 people and 4 people against the quarterback who can run is a terrible idea, which is why he had such a great game. It was great to see him put it together, though. I'm still not convinced that he's going to be the MVP. I think numbers-wise he's getting there, but the Colts
He's been the MVP before. That's what's so interesting. And he was 25-1 despite being top 3 and 4 in the league in passing and rushing.
I think I don't want to say he's figured it out. I think that teams are scared to have him. This is what you want. You want him to beat you with your arm, and he's doing it.
And he did.
Yeah. So now they're going to have to figure out how can we bring pressure and make him make throws that aren't him just sitting. He had 9 and 10 seconds in the pocket. Any defense or any DBs, they're going to get beat where you're sitting back and you got to cover for 10 to 15 seconds. He's just back there chilling, and they're breaking off their routes and they're getting open. So I'm not saying, that's a bad thing for him. He's figuring it out, and they're putting together something that's going to actually have him make throws. If I recall, I don't see any throw that was oh, wow, that's an amazing throw. It was oh, he's got all day. What can you do?
I thought there were multiple throws over the line to the side, quick ones, especially the 2-point versions where he's kind of side-arming to get so it's not blocked at the line. I feel like he's kind of gotten that part of, the nuance to throwing so that you can actually get the ball to your receiver. Different arm angles. I think I haven't seen that until this year, and last night it really was evident. And he's also made the whole thing with the Ravens is they rely on the run game and being ahead. And they've been behind in multiple games this year now, even the Chiefs as well, where they've come back and won these games. And I just think he maybe is taking things to another level where if he's this reliable as a passer, now again, it's the Chiefs defense, whatever. And Colts defense is fine. Yeah. And they figured it out. And He was so efficient that I just think and he's also just smarter with when he runs. I'll say this because shout out to the Lucky Trader guys anyway, because we're doing our first show with them. They just launched luckytrader.com, an analytics and tools company for NFTs. And Jonathan Bales and Peter Jennings, formerly Fantasy Labs, and founded that. Huge sports guys. Bales tweeted this last night. I thought it was the best way to put the Lamar perception. And then we're going to get to the callers. I know we had people waiting for like 5 minutes. He said, imagine thinking Lamar Jackson isn't a top 3 QB. Lamar will continue to be the most underrated QB in the league, as his rushing yards, which effectively act as 100% completion rate, don't get properly counted towards his effectiveness. He's not going to go 31 for 37 for 430 yards every game. But if he's got that ceiling now, look, I'm on the Lamar train only because we touted the 25-1 thanks to Jason and Spreadopedia last week. But I thought it was just kind of eye-opening to me that there might be another level now people weren't sure Lamar could get to. He's kind of hitting it.
Yeah.
I think there's a story there. So with that being said, we will start taking the calls. Was Ty first?
Ty won.
Did you lose another bet on who the
Lost
first caller was?
Man. I went with Tom Davis today.
Yeah, you're 0 for 3 or 4 on these. One of these times. And then I have to
get-
put money into the prize pool. But Ty, welcome to the show. Thanks for being patient, man. I wanted to hit on that Monday Night Football game, though. It was a blast. What are you looking at for today? What do you want to lock in to bet?
No worries, man. I enjoyed hearing your take on that. I want to go with Oklahoma TCU over.
Okay. I actually was pretty close on this myself. I didn't end up playing it because I'm not sure. I really don't know what to make of the whole Caleb Williams thing. And I was like, let's just see how they perform. But, like, obviously the Oklahoma defense looked super susceptible against Texas. TCU's offense is fine. I can give you 65. And I'll tell you my number was closer to like 67. So it's not enough for me to bet, but lean that direction.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I think they both get into the 30s, potentially Oklahoma into the 40s.
Cool. That works for me, man. Appreciate it. And we will talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care. Qwan was listening to an infomercial over there on the side. Whoa. A Netflix series hearing stuff. I have no idea what that was. Who's up next, though, on the line? Paul, that's right. Paul, welcome back to the show, man. What are you looking at betting today?
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. I'm going to break every cardinal rule of betting, I think, and emotionally hedge, and also bet a NFL favorite more than 10. I'm going to go with the Rams over the Giants.
Okay, break this down for me a little bit.
Well, first of all, I'm a huge Giants fan, but I don't understand how they're going to score with everybody out on offense. I mean, their offensive line is not very good against the Rams DL, and I don't think the travel is going to be a factor for LA just because of the extra couple days of rest. And if it's within 10 in the fourth quarter, I would be shocked. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Rams, I think.
The old Mike Glennon fade, bunch of injuries like you alluded to. Look, the number probably should be double digits. It's not something I'm willing to lay. The Giants have been feisty. It's not to some extent, right? They came back against the Saints late. No, it's different when it's Glennon or Daniel Jones. Would you be interested in potentially playing first half instead of full game? You could probably get a first half number that's a TD or just under the 7 number potentially, or you could just lay 10.5 for full game. But I was wondering if that was something you said. Yeah. I'd be shocked if they're not up 10 plus by the fourth quarter. Maybe you could capitalize on first half.
What is the number first half? I wasn't even looking that direction, but what is that number?
Well, funny enough, the screen I'm looking at right now has first halves down across the board. Let me actually log into an app real quick and see, because now I'm intrigued why they wouldn't be offering it other than the question marks with like Barkley, Galladay, and company. But I'm pulling it up, so just bear with me for a few seconds here.
Sure.
But what we'll do is we'll lock you in for the 10.5. It wasn't on the app that I looked at now. I think they're just waiting to put anything else up. So
gotcha.
I think if you can get 6.5, first half's probably a better. If it's 7, that you're going to push so frequently that maybe it's better to go full game. So we'll lock you into 10.5 now. If things change and you want to swap to first half tomorrow or later this week, that's totally cool too for the leaderboard.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
No problem. Take care. By
Okay,
the way,
bye.
Qwan, and I didn't mention this, nobody got both for Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinary yesterday. We had a ton of contestants, the most we've ever had on a day 3. And sure enough, the two about 2-1 dogs both hit. Giants first half, first 5, winning that one outright. And then the Colts were actually winning that game against the Ravens outright a half. So we're doing a day 1 for Who Wants to Be Betting Extraordinaire today after last word Cheetah. Anyone can call in, another chance to make your run at 25,000. But the point of bringing that up was something else that I can't remember, but it had something to do with the NFL game, the Colts and the Ravens again. Regardless, we'll lock him in for the 10.5. And if I remember why I brought this up and connect the points for the last caller, I'll bring it up again. Who's up next on the line?
Got Cam from New Jersey.
What's up, Cam? How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
We're doing well. And Qwan, I remembered my point of bringing it up was, is there a leaderboard where there weren't any games or bets for the monthly leaderboard, like Sarab plus 4.1? He's still in first, right? Because no one actually bet anything outside of the Giants or Dodgers game.
Well,
a few people went with the Dodgers. Now they're minus, 2 units. And one person did the Giants in the chat. Did that jump them up into the leaderboard by chance? Or?
I got yelled at by a few of our callers, so there's going to be some retooling.
Some adjustments to the leaderboard?
There was Putin did some things, so I gotta fix a couple of bets from early or late September, early October. But whoever was in the league yesterday is in the lead by a unit or so.
Okay, so Sarab's still there. I just wanted to clarify the leaderboard. I know there was some confusion. So it's Joey that's on right now, right? Joey, you still there?
Cam from New Jersey.
It's Cam. Thank you, Cam. My bad, but you're good to go now. What are you looking at for this week?
I'm gonna go to the NFL. And what's the juice you're seeing on the Browns minus 2.5? I'm seeing mostly minus 120s, but I wanted to know if you see any minus 110s. Maybe
yeah, you got
115.
one at South Point. South Point never juices their sides. They just move the number or they leave it there. So you got minus 2.5, minus 110 there.
Yeah, I'll lay the 2.5 with the Browns. I think Cardinals will get their first loss this week.
Question. If they don't, and the Cardinals win this game in Cleveland, like how legit are we all thinking Arizona is? Would that impress you?
I think they're fairly legit NFC contenders.
Okay.
I think their ceiling is probably reaching the NFC title game, I'd say.
Okay.
I mean, they're undefeated. They've looked pretty good. Have they played? I mean, their best game is probably the Rams in Week 1. Other than that, they've kind of looked okay. Minnesota game. Yeah, I don't know. It's we'll see. I don't know.
The reason I brought it up, I didn't mean to put you on the spot or anything. I don't think I know myself either, and I keep trying to tell myself, after this week, I'll be impressed by the Cardinals. Maybe it's the Browns win, but if they won and beat the Browns by a couple points on the road, I still don't know if I'm like, all right, Kyler Murray's going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know. It's tough. I'm in this weird spot where I find myself discrediting Arizona. I kind of lean your way on the 2.5. It was 3, getting pushed back down. Might be a sell high in Arizona.
I'm seeing mostly minus 120. That's kind of why I wanted to get it now before it maybe goes back up to 3.
Sure. Yep. We will lock you in, man. Appreciate the call. Talk to you later.
No problem. Thanks.
I'm not sold on the Browns, man. I know they.
I don't think anyone's necessarily sold. Look, they probably should have won that Chargers game, and all the talk yesterday, general media narratives were, Baker can't do it in the final drive in the fourth quarter. Look, they had a lead, and they had the ball, and they ran it 3 times, and then they punted. That's not Baker's fault. Then the Chargers went down and scored again and ended up winning. Then Baker had a chance late to get them to score, but really anybody was an underdog to go get a TD down 5 in a minute. So I don't really blame him for that. And a lot of people were just dismissing final 8 plays of the fourth quarter, Baker Mayfield and the Browns, only 25 total yards. It's like, 3 of those plays, they literally just handed it off and gained a total of 1 and then punted back up 1. Let Baker throw it then. It's not his fault he couldn't get first. Anyway, I'm a little bit like I'm not sure I can buy the Browns long term either, but like they're definitely really good in my opinion.
When they're
and I don't think
the
you
ball,
can.
Yeah.
The amount of like the sample size of Baker in fourth quarters down is like a couple still. Okay, yeah, he hasn't been as great leading fourth quarter comebacks out of a sample of like 5 the last 2 seasons. Let's give him a few more. And by the way, let him throw then when you're up 1 in the fourth instead of handing it off 3 times and punting it back to a defense that had already given up 41. Next. All right, Alec, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being patient. What are you looking at betting and locking in today?
I'm going to bet South Alabama against the spread. And I just have a quick question. I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
You said it's day 1 again?
It is, yes.
For
yeah, because both won last night. Yep.
I selected B last night, Colts first half money line.
Yep, the option was that just the Giants win first 5, the Colts win their first half, C, both of them, plus you got some push equity, and then D was neither. Was there confusion with the question, I guess?
Yeah, I guess I have confusion. So which one hit? I'm sorry.
Both. Since they both hit, C was the correct answer.
Okay. Got you.
I mean, it was
All
the
right.
worst answer to pick. It was just bad luck for your guys' sake because, like, 2-2-1 dogs won, but it was the one that ended up being right. No one picked it.
All right. I'm going to go with South Alabama against the spread.
So multiple people I know want to bet Georgia Southern. Their coach left like 2 weeks ago. They had one really good game. They also, by the way, we're speaking of bad beats yesterday. The Tulsa under was on SportsCenter bad beats last night. The Stanford ASU game, we talked about that total. Another one was Troy up 21 at home in the third quarter against Georgia Southern, not covering 4, which closed like 5.5, 6. That one was frustrating. Georgia Southern's a weird team. I don't know what to make of them. I'm staying away. But the numbers, if you're just like looking at pure projections, I have this lower. I'm just staying back because I don't know what Georgia Southern is as a team with this new coach, and I need more data there, and I just don't want to get involved. I think it's a really high variant game. I'll lock you in for -3. There's a couple 3.5s that are still in the market, but I know some that just like straight modelers that are like, why isn't this pick? I got to take 3. So I'll be interesting to see where this ends up closing. It's a Thursday night game. It's early. But, yeah, Alec, we'll lock you into 3 -110. And good luck. I'm totally just staying. No part of it for me.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep, take care.
I think there was a lot of confusion in the Discord about that, too. Somebody congratulated somebody.
Oh. Well, maybe people didn't get the
question.
Like, there can only be one right answer in this case. That was the intent of the question.
Yeah.
And maybe they thought if they chose A or B or C, they're through. Which most picked D anyways. But if he picked B, then I can see why he thought he was through.
I picked A, and I was like, yeah, I got it right. And then I saw the first half.
I didn't really think through that until he just brought it up, to be completely honest. But the intent was that if there's a both option, like then
can't be one or the other.
Yeah.
We got
I apologize.
Mr. B in Omaha.
What's up, Mr. B? How you doing? Welcome back.
Hey, good, Preston. How you doing, man?
We're doing well. We're looking ahead to some more football this weekend. What question do you have?
Well, I've got some interest in the other Thursday night game, the Memphis and Navy game.
Yep.
I do like Navy. I wanted your opinion on the game also.
Ooh. So everyone I know likes Memphis. The Lions should be like 2 TDs. Navy's been horrible. It was 8.5. It moved to like 10.5 by the time I did my show yesterday. I couldn't really talk about the game. I wouldn't bet Memphis now. But this is what's interesting. And I'll say, even admitting myself, it's tough for me sometimes to bet these option games. I try to do a good job of capturing limited possessions from option teams in games, like especially Army, who plays at a snail's pace. Navy and Air Force play with a little more tempo, but the amount of plays in a game, there's way fewer plays, which means the variance in those games is way higher. And like 1 or 2 weird turnovers happen in a double-digit spread like this, if they favor Navy, you're way good. You're plus 10.5. There's just not enough possessions for Memphis to cover if they turn it over once or twice or a weird special teams play. If it's Navy's side that's making the weird play, like Memphis is going to win by 21. You look at Navy's results, and they're super skewed. When they've been huge dogs, they're losing by like 4 to 8 points. If they've been a favorite, they're losing outright by 17. Like a lot of their scores are just really tough to digest. So I generally, not on purpose, but sometimes they'll just, if it's close, I'll stay away. But I'll tell you this, my numbers do have it higher. I think, and some guys I talked to have like 14 to 16, and we'll see. Yeah, but I would pass now at this number.
Right. I understand that. The thing I like about Navy in this spot is a short week for one thing, and the other is Memphis defense is really bad, and it goes right along with what you were saying. It shortens the game, and when you're laying something like this, and Memphis they're pretty athletic, but they make a lot of mistakes. You knew that by watching the Tulsa game the other night. They
were surprisingly bad. I'll interject. They were surprisingly bad against the run, especially in that fourth quarter when we needed to fade like 5 TDs, and they knew Tulsa was trying to run clock, and they still couldn't stop the run. So in that sense, you could be right. They know Navy's going to run. They know it's an option, and they still might not be able to stop it. Like, absolutely could be the case. I'll just say this, one more thing for you. If you're going to bet Navy, I think you can still wait. I'd be shocked if you couldn't get at least 11. Maybe it's 11.5. Maybe it even keeps drifting towards 13, 14. I wouldn't rush to bet Navy now, especially after a big 2-point move yesterday, early in the week. I think it still climbs.
All right, I'll sit on it, but that's the side I'm going to be on. And besides, I've got a friend that couldn't win a game if he gave him the final, and he loves Memphis. So,
there you go.
Everybody knows a guy like that, don't they?
Yes, and I'm not one of them sitting here in the studio with me. Hey, appreciate the call.
He's laughing about it, though. You got to like that, don't you?
Yeah.
Losing is fun.
Yeah.
All right, man. Appreciate the call.
All right. Well, thanks for your...
Good luck this week.
Bet. Thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next time. All right, who we got next? I got to take a drink. What's up, Joey? Welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. What's going on?
Nothing. We're just hanging. Looking forward to the weekend of football. What are you looking at locking in for today?
I'm going to lock in Minnesota Vikings money line. I saw that -110. I don't know if you got a better number.
Sure. Let me pull it up. I was on college for just a sec. -110 is the best. There's a -112. There's also as high as a -120. So it's generally moving that way. What is this, more of a buy on Minnesota still, or a sell on Carolina? That Eagles-Panthers game was weird.
Both.
I went back through the box score. So combination.
Yeah, combination. I go back a couple weeks. Minnesota could have knocked off Arizona, missed the field goal at the end.
Should have.
I think they're way more talented than Carolina, even though McCaffrey probably will come back this week. But I'll take Kirk Cousins with his weapons over Sam Darnold. So what does I think it'll come down to?
All right. We will lock you in, give you the -110. Pick Vikings. Good luck, man. We'll talk to you later on.
All right. Thanks. Take care.
See ya. Who we got next? Sarah, our current leader for the month of October, up 4.1x. What are you locking in for today to bet this week?
What's going on, Preston? I'm going to go with the first 5 under in the Braves game.
Oh, by the way, Sarab's plus 5.1 because you had the Giants team total under with me, right? We switched to that. I mean, both would have won, but okay, cool. So you're actually ahead by more than the current board shows after that W. I still can't believe the Dodgers lost that game. What are you doing for tonight then? Same game?
Braves first.
Braves.
Yeah,
got
the
it.
Braves Brewers.
Wow, that's weird. Is Westgate really a 4.5? Hold on one second. I got to check my app, make sure the screen is wrong. It's like everywhere it's 4, maybe slightly juiced over. But my screen is showing that Westgate is dealing a 4.5. They are. You want under 4.5 -115 for Brewers Braves?
That's great. I'm
extremely shocked to see that they've just been sitting 4.5. I know Everywhere else is 4. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's probably a good bet blind, even if you don't have an opinion. But Sarab has an opinion, and that's bet every first 5 under in the MLB playoffs, and it's been paying off so far. He is in first this month, so wish you luck again tonight, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks, Preston. Take care.
Yeah, see ya. Who's up next, Qwan? What's up, Nick? Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, doing good, Preston. Hope you're doing well.
Yep, I am. What are you looking at locking in for the week?
All right. So there's 2 I'm staring at right now because one number kind of just popped. But I should also ask you this first. Is one of your totals today Fresno State, Wyoming by chance, or is it not?
It is not.
It's not? Okay. There was a 55.5 at BetMGM that was appealing to take the under on since everywhere else is lower, and I was kind of leaning that way. But the real play I was going to call for is Ole Miss because I am with you on that. Now, the question I have on this is, I see bookmaker minus 2.5, minus 115, DraftKings minus 3, minus 105. And I actually, because the total is so high, I'm not sure which is better.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. You know who could? The Rufus and Captain Jack have the unabated site. I'm not sure if you have like a free like login yet. I know you can try it out for free. I'm not sure if their college is up, but you could actually plug that in. A total at, which by the way, I think that's one of them. I think the total's actually too low, believe it or not. So yeah, is a half point on 3 in college when the total should be like 84, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Worthwhile for 10 cents. I think because the projected spread is just so close to it's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah.
It's probably still good. That's my hunch. But unabated would have the correct answer, and I could do it when I could go back in my data later too and check that I have and see. But that's not one we don't commonly have the all total in the 80s, key number of 3. Should I pay a little extra juice for 2.5? That just hasn't come up very much historically. So that's interesting. Good question though, for sure.
Yeah. So for this, I'll roll with Ole Miss, and I guess. I mean, so I'll take the 2.5. I don't know. I don't know really which is better, but I'll just take the 2.5. I don't know. I don't know which is better.
I think it is probably still slightly better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was my guess, but I'm kind of guessing also too.
Because the idea is that if the game's ever going to actually land 3, it's because the game's close. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you this: if it's a tie game late, Ole Miss doesn't care if they're scoring a touchdown or kicking a field goal at the buzzer. In fact, they got screwed last week, scoring too quickly to go up 7 with 1:07 left and let Arkansas go back and almost tie it up with the 2-point conversion. They almost lost. Now they're going to be like, hey, if it's a minute left, minute and a half, 2 minutes, like let's make sure we're kicking a field goal at the buzzer. Like there's probably an increased percentage there now that it lands exactly 3 because of what happened last week. Now that I'm thinking it through, so yeah, the 2.5 is probably good, to be honest.
Okay, sweet. All right, yeah, we'll roll with that then. That sounds good.
Cool. Appreciate it. Good question. We will talk to you later.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
See ya. I thought I had like an unabated like guest invite. I'm trying to find it. Like I could log in and get the answer too, but now it's saying I need to sign up. I don't know. I'll try to figure it out while we do the show. In the meantime, Patrick, welcome to Last Word Cheetah. What are you looking at locking into bet today?
Hey, how's it going, Preston? Hey, I'm going to give out a very embarrassing pick.
Oh, no.
Just because it's so public, but I'm going to tease the Bucks and the Chiefs down to 1 each. I know it's very obvious, and it's embarrassing, but I think it's going to win. So I'll roll with it.
Yeah, can't hate it, I guess. Look, there's a 6.5 for Tampa Bay. I can give you down to a half. And then Kansas City. Yesterday everyone was saying like they liked Kansas City down to a half too. That's going to go up to 7, and they were right. Like a lot of people were trying to lock in Kansas City. I have to give you -1 on that side, but I can at least give you the -0.5 for Tampa Bay. I just feel like I don't know. It seems too obvious, right? But those still win sometimes.
I know. I almost hated to say it, but I mean, there were several sides that I liked that have just all moved in the last couple of days. That I can't play these numbers. I like the Bengals at -3 that moved today. I like
Mhm.
the Dolphins at -3. That moved yesterday.
Chargers are now like a
Chargers,
+3
3.5.
juiced. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played all those at the old numbers. I can't play them at the current numbers. So
Fair enough. It's good to
So
be
we'll stick
honest.
with-
It's okay. I can't disagree with the play, really. I mean, ultimately, you're not supposed to tease 6.5s or 7s down. But if you think the numbers are short, you think that they're going to go to 7.5 anyway, then tease it now. And then, if the market is 7.5 Sunday, it's historically a good tease, and you have a half point better or whatever. So it's not a bad angle if you think they're going to move regardless.
yeah. All right.
Cool, man. We will talk to you next time. Appreciate it, Patrick.
All right. Bye.
Next. Carlos, how are you doing, man? I don't think we talked to you yesterday. Maybe you did. I don't remember, but I hope your weekend was good.
Yeah, I talk to you every day, bro.
I know it. That's why in my
loyal.
head I didn't remember talking to you yesterday, and I was surprised. But I was probably just wrong.
Yeah, he almost
You were
said
wrong.
I think they're due for one team, one of his bets. Was that yesterday or Friday?
That's what- I don't know. He says it every day now.
It was one of them.
All right, Carlos. Either way, what are you looking to lock
today's
in
the
for today?
first day of NHL hockey. I dabble in everything. I don't know everything, but I dabble in everything. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh Penguins first period plus 165.
Pittsburgh Penguins first period. Money line? Is it
Maybe.
a three-way line, or do you push?
No, money line.
Okay. I can give you plus 170. I see a 170.
There you go. I'll take it. I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if you've ever been asked this before. Throughout the years that you've been gambling or betting, sports betting, what is the most difficult sport that your colleagues or yourself has been the most difficult sport to bet?
Baseball now, the last few years. That's why I didn't even bother running my model this year. I used to do decent throughout the year in baseball. Post All-Star break, things would kind of die down. And so then I actually adjusted and only bet baseball for like the first half of the year through maybe June. Then I actually realized that really the edge ends even sooner than that. And I would only bet through May. And a lot of my edge was that I had pretty good data and info on young pitchers that just hadn't made many starts yet. And so their first few starts each year, there was either an edge betting on them or against them accordingly. And then that dried up, in my opinion, pretty quickly the last 2 or 3 years. And this year I was like, I don't even think it's worth the time. Maybe bet a few starts at the beginning of the year, but that's it. So baseball's the toughest. And I know some other guys that used to crush baseball that basically have stopped altogether. There's guys out there that can do it still, and all power to them. But it's tough. I still think the NFL, there's some edges to be had. NFL's always one of the other ones, though, that are pretty liquid market that's tough to beat.
Well, I know NBA and college football is pretty much your wheelhouse. Is that correct to say?
Yes, those are my two. College basketball too, but both hoops leagues I generally can beat still, at least.
So yeah, that's it.
Cool, man. No problem. Appreciate the question.
All right.
We'll lock you in for the hockey play tonight. Enjoy opening night. If you are a hockey fan, I have nothing I can say that betrays to hockey. Don't run hockey. We'll have hockey guests on occasionally, but yeah, good luck, Carlos. We'll talk to you later.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right.
Welcome back to the show, Jamie. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well. On my way to the Braves game, see if we can take it home tonight.
Do you have any trends like me where if I attend a sporting event, it just goes under? It's like 15 in a row now. Anything that you can share with the crowd?
No, not that I have. I will say I tend to be a little late, which I am here again today. And a lot of times it'll just be like significant first inning one way or the other. Like game's almost over and I get there. So maybe
Definitely
that
first inning
run
yes
yes,
score.
First run yes.
There's been some edges on first inning yes scores anyways in the playoffs. Just a little more public no action. Love it. That's the lock of the year. You don't have to use that for your call though, but I'm just letting everyone else know. He's running late. All the excitement will be in the first inning.
Yep. Whoever it is that usually calls and gets that, I haven't heard him yet today, so he'll have even a bigger edge now.
That's right. What are you going to lock in yourself?
I wanted to ask you about UNLV and Utah State. I was shocked to see it moving towards UNLV early. Looks like it might have been kind of a head fake. It popped back now. But just was curious your thoughts on that one.
I'm pretty sure my number was right around 8.5. So it's one that if it pushed down to 6.5, which it did get to 6.5 this morning, and then it immediately got scooped. So that's like the buy point for me. I wouldn't personally lay 7. Getting under 7, if it gets repopped down, I agree with you. I think that's a fine buy on the Aggies.
All right, I was in the same exact space. Then the other one, I was curious your thoughts on Rutgers. I bet them early, but without the draw, I don't love it. But I kind of took it because I thought it might move. Market's moving like he might be in. At least people like Rutgers enough to bet him. But have you heard anything or you know anything about the backup? He looked pretty bad.
I don't personally. I mean, yeah, you only have. It's like similar with like Calzada and A&M, where it's like, wow, this guy looked really bad for the small amount of time that we've seen from him. How much stock do you put in that? Look, if you had said Northwestern would be home dogs to Rutgers like a year ago, no one would have believed you, or 2 years ago, right? Like at some point, you got to look at like coaching and kind of just the program, the recruiting ranks. The problem is that the Northwestern just doesn't have much talent themselves anyway. Pat Fitzgerald's just gotten the most out of them and done a lot better job probably than he gets credit for. My couple people I talked to bet Rutgers. My line was right at -1. I don't even remember which team I had favored, so it wasn't enough for me to play. But I do know some people that like Rutgers that bet it, and part of the reason it moved, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, I bet Northwestern team total under this year, so that's looking all right. And just generally, they've had a pretty big fall off. But I bet that one already, so I think I'm good on that one. A lot of things are kind of in a weird spot. I bet them early. I've got good numbers. I'm waiting for the numbers I want to come back. So I'll just keep it simple. I'm gonna go Braves money line today. I actually think we get it done, and I'll be there. So
Homer pick.
No college. I'm really looking for.
All right.
Go for the homer pick, but yeah, I think Morton gets it done, and I think that Brewers starter will be on a short leash. Braves not
Lauer
great
should
against
be.
lefties, but I don't see him going more than once through the order, anyways. So I think we'll get it done.
Okay, -149. That's the best price I can give you. Good luck. Enjoy the game, man. Drive safe.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yep. By the way, the other game going on right now, Houston, Chicago, we have it up on the TV. I keep checking. It's still 5-1. Houston going to probably close this out, so nothing too exciting happening there. How many more callers do we have on the line, Qwan? 2 more? Cool. We'll take the 2. We'll hit on I already hit on one of the 2 totals that I like in college. So I'll see what the current numbers are, and then we can talk a little NBA. So who's up first? Hunter. Patch him through. What's up, Hunter? How are you doing today?
What's going on, brother? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate it. What are you looking at locking in for betting this week?
I am looking at Miami -3.5. The Dolphins.
I think this is going to be – it's the London game. I hate the London game with
it's
passion.
Yeah,
but I also love making fun
there's
of
always
it.
something crazy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
The totals moved a ton.
I'm a super diehard Dolphin fan, sadly. And we get Tua back this week, supposedly. So our defense has been playing horrible. It's not official, but he was supposed to a couple weeks ago. This was the aim game.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of good reports saying that he'll be ready. So it's not official, but I'm betting that it is. So I think our defense will play a lot better, especially against the Jaguars. Like, they're not that great. I think that our ranking, we have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and I think that our talent is a lot better than what our ranking shows. I honestly had high expectations for us this year, and boy, 1-4 is not the start I imagined.
Well, here's the problem. I'm going to interject a little bit. I think the case of the Miami Dolphins as a whole this year was interesting, not only from the Tua side, but there was that where, hey, he took over and your offense was worse last year, but it was just the phenomenal rate in which you guys were forcing turnovers and like turning them into points. It just was never going to be sustainable. And so while the defense on the surface looked elite last year, they just really aren't. And they're below league average and success rate, both against the run and the pass. It helps when you have a better offense that isn't just like checking down like Brissett tends to do over and over. But maybe Tua can add to that little ceiling or variance, at least to some extent. Maybe it helps the defense. We'll see. We can give you the 3.5, though. We'll lock you in, something to root for if you're up early. If you're on the East Coast, not too early. But, yeah, good luck with the Dolphins, man. We'll talk to you next time.
All right, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yep. See ya. Did you say he's in Hunter? Is he in Texas somewhere, actually? Houston, all right. So I guess it'd be 8:30 a.m. for him. Not too bad. I'm never waking up at 6:30, though, to watch the London first half, which is pointless anyway. Yeah,
I was
just not happening.
No, yeah. We got last caller, Tom Davis.
All right, welcome to the show, Tom. How are you doing?
All right, buddy. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. We're hanging in there. We are getting ready for a couple college football totals, little NBA discussion, and then who wants to be a betting extraordinaire. Day one for all of you guys in about 20 minutes. What are you looking to lock in to bet this week, Tom?
What do you think about the college total tonight, App State, Louisiana?
I know that the market moved up yesterday, and I know that two people that I talk with and talk college football with like under. Now that it's at 57.5. Is it? Let me double check. It might have moved in the last hour. I don't remember actually looking in the last hour. Let's see. It's still 57 mostly everywhere. Maybe 57.5 if you can find them. What's interesting is App State got bet. I believe Right Angle Sports, our friends from over there, released it at 3.5, moved to 5. Now there's been buyback down to 4.5, 4. Now some buyback back to 4.5. There's a little bit of a contradicting opinions in this game. I don't know, Qwan, did you ever make up a graphic for this game? No, that's all good. There are 4. There's a 4. Yeah, there's 2. So if you want to lay the 4 with App State.
App State -4.
You don't want to play the total then? Just confirming.
No, I was leaning the other way, and I ain't going to go against you guys there.
Well, I don't have an opinion. I think my opinion would be I'd have to bet under if you made me, but I don't have any opinion on the game. I just know two people that liked under at 57.5. So for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I like the side, so I'm gonna go with the side App State.
Okay, fair enough. We will lock you in there, and yeah, man, appreciate it. Good luck today, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, let's get some runs tonight.
Jeez, man. Guys on base, innings 2 through 8. 0 runs. Max made one bad pitch, and they lose the game 1-0. And Gavin Lux hit a home run on the 9th that didn't actually go over the fence because the first windy night in L.A. in 17 years. That's about as bad as it gets from a luck perspective. Anyways, I'll stop complaining. Tom, talk to you later.
All right, go Dodgers, Pete.
That's the end of the calls. We got some chat bets. This one I got from Shane before we went on there was Astros money line. You can include it if you want. He'll yell at me if you don't.
Wait, what? Astros money line?
Yeah,
when?
he put it in way before the show though.
Oh, before the show.
Yeah, I send it to you to verify or whatever. Hayden took App State -4 as well.
If you have a timestamp that shows he locked it in before it started, I'm not against that. We don't want to make this a habit though.
No,
because I don't want people to start just texting in their plays every day.
It's becoming a habit. Fran Millionaire first half, Army, Wisconsin.
What about it? First half what?
Where's it at? Under 21.5, sorry.
Check that. It seems right. I'm pretty sure the total was 40-ish. It's kind of moving down.
And then
another one. Yeah, 21.5, but Penny's -132. So if he's okay with that, we'll lock him in.
I think that's what he put in. -132. And then Michael Yeager in the YouTube App State -4 also.
Man, so many people like App State. If you forced me to bet it, I would take 4.5 with Lafayette. It was 5 until it kind of got bought back a little today. I thought 3 was a great line where it kind of opened, I believe. Circa opened it right at 3. Yeah, that's where I have it, but some differentiating opinions. It wouldn't actually be a play for me on Lafayette unless it somehow ran up to 6+, which it won't. So I'm staying away. But yeah, a lot of people like App State tonight. You want to talk over my totals real quick? I was trying to. I by the way, if Nick is still listening, I validated my unabated login something or other. I am now on one of their trading tools you can use for free is to compare lines. You can choose college football spread total. So the spread, obviously, -2.5, price -115, or -3, -105. Okay, you compare the lines, and it's running right now. This is the better line, -2.5, -115. But I thought, and my impression was that you could include the total in the run, but I'm not seeing it, at least on their current like beta version that they have available to the public. So I will ask Rufus about that. In the meantime, I still am curious now because it's just like, I never thought of it. What's the value of a 3 on a total in the 80s? Be interesting to find out. Maybe they don't have it because, like, just there's not a ton of. They'll say historically it's this, but historically might not be a very big sample regardless. So, anyways, I will get to the bottom of it. But I was just running it live while we were trying to update the other total besides that one. By the way, my number with Tennessee Ole Miss was 84. And I know it's moved up some even more today. We were talking about 80.5 earlier. Now it's 81 across the board. My number is a lot higher. So here's what's interesting about this game. You kind of have to like basket what Heupel's done with Tennessee. He comes over from UCF. They obviously are running with more tempo. They're also just way more efficient offensively than I had projected in my priors. Priors with Tennessee, I obviously knew Heupel was taking over and tempo would increase. I thought they would be X good. And offensively, they've been a lot better than X good. So my priors are still slightly in week 7 baked into my number. And if my number is 84 with some sort of Tennessee offensive prior that, I'll be honest, probably just was too low. They've just been consistently better than that. And they're obviously running with more tempo than they were a year ago. This total should probably be 85 plus. So I'm kind of taking a stance in some sense of how if I were to only, and by the way, this is what I meant to give context. If I were to only use the data from Tennessee this year and Ole Miss this year, I have the total projected more like 86.5. Using priors, it's down to like 84. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. Anyways, 81 or better, I still think is worthwhile. That's the main point. And then the other one I bet, forgot the rotation. Let me just pull it up real quick. It was 207. Everyone's gonna hate me for this, but I'm serious. That Stanford ASU game, just like 28 points to start, like a minute into the second quarter, and then Stanford only scored I think 3 more points the rest of the game, and they only punted once. They kept getting to the ASU like 40 or 35 and finding ways to get 0. ASU had a few turnovers. Then in that they had the lead. 2.5 score lead. ASU started just like totally draining clock because of the way that it's scripted out. I still think that was a dead over. We also beat the closing line by, from 51 to 53.5. This is one. Stanford, Washington State at 51.5, 52 is still worthwhile buy. I think it should be pushing towards 54 again at close. Hopefully we're ahead. DeLaura, the quarterback for Wazoo's been fantastic since he returned from injury. Yeah, and I just still think Stanford's offense is better with McKee at quarterback, and they have been throwing it more frequently. Their rush defense has been pretty bad also. So if DeLaura's not doing his thing through the air, Wazoo can still run. Plenty of options and ways and avenues to get an over at 51.5, 52. I know there's a couple spots that are already up to 52.5. I wouldn't bet it there for what it's worth, or it would be a smaller play. But I do anticipate this to keep trickling up, kind of similar to what we saw last week by Stanford. But those are the only two totals I had not massive edges worth betting on. And then there was like a massive amount that were close, which is annoying if you're a bettor and you want action. You're like, there's like 5 or 6 of these that you want to start forcing. And I've told you guys generally it's usually like week 8, week 9. My volume goes down quite a bit. One that was close was, we had a caller earlier, TCU Oklahoma at 65. And then there was a total, I'm just scanning the board real quick. There was an under that was pretty close, but It was one of the low ones. It was one that it might have been the San Diego State one, and someone called in about that. Yeah, it was like if you can get 41.5, it's probably worth betting under on San Diego State, San Jose. But most everywhere is 41, and even 41.5 was a little bit of a smaller edge anyway. So anyway, that was one though that Friday night game still options if you can shop around and get 41.5. I think that's worth something. But it was just like, man. There's 2 or 3 others that I was like, not enough. The other one actually might have been BYU Baylor, Duke Virginia. There's a couple that were just not quite enough for me to fire. So I only have the 2, and I still need to update some NFL stuff. Outside of the Chargers, I haven't done anything with the NFL, and that was basically getting ahead of this 3.5 is never going to really go higher. So luckily we mentioned it yesterday, and now it's 3, and the juice is on the Charger side, even on a 3. So we'll see where that heads. Despite my love for Lamar to open the show. That's it. I think we're good to talk NBA for like 5 minutes if you want, unless we have 2 callers that are on.
We got Christian.
Okay.
Wants at -4 in the YouTube chat. Also, Brian from New York is on the line.
Cool. What's up, Brian? Welcome to the show. You're on. How are you doing?
Hey, Preston. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am doing fantastically. Appreciate it. What are you wanting to luck in today?
I think you could probably guess where I'm going to go, and it's the Dodgers tonight.
Pain. That game last night, you could ask my wife. Don't actually ask her, but I was like genuinely upset last night, and I don't usually let sports results and events get to me anymore, but hated what happened last night. It was just super bad. Anyway, -165. That's the best price on the Dodgers. Bueller at home against the damn Giants. We can lock you in for that, man.
Thank you. Let's get this one and force a game 5.
We have to. We will. Take it easy, man. Talk to you later. Yeah, I was like, even before my kids went to bed, I kept like telling my son, he's just turned 5. He's kind of getting into the stage of, there's like sports on, like asking questions. And so I'm like, oh yeah, like let me tell you about what's happening. And he's like, wow, we're going to score. They're like every inning we had 1 or 2 guys on base. And I'd be like, yeah, let's watch. Like, let's go Mookie or Trey Turner or Corey Seager or whoever it was that was up with men on. We just whiffed every time. And he's like, yeah, the baseball sucks. And he was like, he was done after like, and then next time I'd be like, man, look, we got guys on base again. We might score. Now he's played T-ball. He understands like, okay, you're close to scoring if there's guys on base and you see the yellow dots on the graphic on the TV. We can never score. So I was also frustrated because like I wanted him to get amped about the Dodgers scoring in an important game, and we just couldn't freaking do it. Then he went to bed, the 4th or 5th inning anyway.
You hear that, Dodgers? You let down
your
son.
Do it for him.
Fran Millionaire is trying to teach you how to do the unabated tool. He said look in the Discord.
I've never actually used it. Sorry, Rufus. Sorry, Captain Jack.
And we got Andre calling back.
Well, then if Fran is online right now, Fran, look at the Ole Miss -2.5, -115 versus -3, -105 for a total line at 81. Ole Miss, Tennessee. I have compare lines. I left the tab up here. You click compare lines, you click spread. Maybe you just do both. I'm not trying to bet over or under. I just wanted to be like, hey, if the spread's 81, the total's 81, what's the difference for the spread? Yeah, you can bring Andre on. Andre, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Preston, what's going on? It has been too long.
It has. How have you been?
I had to get back to basic. I've been pretty good, I'm a teacher, so the school year kind of kicks off. It gets busy, but we won't tolerate excuses, okay, when it comes to staying current with the world of sports, and there's certainly a lot going on. I'm interested today in the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, the preseason action. I don't have the specific, I think it just helped me out there, but I'm favoring the Lakers, given the fact that it kind of means more to them. I took a look I saw some statistics on Russell Westbrook, who's not off to a good start.
Horrible.
And horrible start. And I'm not, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And so, you throw this AARP team together, when they're going to be looking to collect their Social Security sooner rather than later.
Okay.
And then they're just expecting it, to work out. I'm not of that opinion. We got teams like the Denver Nuggets, who, when healthy, are going to be very dangerous. Utah is still trying to get over how they let the Clippers come back from that double-digit lead and whoop them at home. So the Lakers, I think, it gets late early. So I'm going to take them in, whatever the particular spread is. I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me.
7.
I think,
Seven's the best Lakers number.
All right, I'll take the 7, and they got to kind of get their ducks in a row because Golden State as well. They brought in Kenny Atkinson, which I love. Who's a great player development coach. So him working with James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga, and those guys having an opportunity because Klay's not going to be there right away. They specifically need to feed Wiseman more, and let him shine because he's a big man, that can dominate. So I think Golden State's also going to have a bounce back year. Thanks for taking the call. I'll be back in touch regularly. Have a good afternoon.
Beautiful, Andre. I know you are more of a hoops guy, so it'll be good to have you calling in. I'll say this. The reason the lines moved from 4.5 to even 7.5 some spots, we can give you the 7. But Steph Curry, Draymond are skipping tonight's game. Klay's already out anyways, I believe. So that's why it's moved up. The thing with Russ, he had like 9 turnovers in 20 minutes the other night. You know what he's averaging? You know how you track points per possession?
Yeah.
Like the points per possession generally in the NBA has been really good the last few years. It's been ballooning to like 1.15 to 1.12 points per possession, like the best offenses of all time.
Yeah.
But like on average, just over a point per possession, it's been pretty good, like historically. Russell Westbrook, his possessions are 0.29 so far through the preseason games. It's like 250% worse than the worst of all time. If he were to he's not going to actually do that over the course of the season. It's impossible. Literally, it's like impossible. But that's how bad he's been in the preseason.
I saw a few quotes.
Scoring 0 or turning it over so frequently that every time he has the ball, you don't even get 0.3 of a point out of that possession.
These Laker games this season are going to be great.
No Ariza, no THT, Taylor Horton-Tucker tore ligament in his hand. He's out a while. And they were already kind of like, who are the wings going to be to play alongside LeBron, AD, and Russ? They need spacing. Ariza was one of the 3-and-D guys that probably would have been in the mix. THT, I think, was going to play more of like the 6th-man role, but now you're hoping Bazemore and Ellington and Monk can do it. I don't know. By the way, so speaking of, and I know we got to get to who wants to be a betting extraordinaire. We don't have much time. We'll get into more NBA stuff, but I just recorded a podcast earlier today with Matt Moore and Justin Fan. We talked our favorite NBA futures bets, win totals, but under for the Lakers, 52.5 to 51.5 are the numbers. That was one of Justin's favorite. I know that's one that I think does show value. And the question mark obviously is always LeBron and AD's health, even if healthy. And Russ was supposed to be like the Energizer Bunny to help them game to game in the regular season so that they're not a 7 seed. And look, I don't think the Lakers and LeBron actually think seeding matters in the playoffs. They know they would have beat the Suns if AD didn't get hurt. They were the 7th seed. They didn't matter. I think that's an excuse as to why they actually brought in Russell Westbrook. It's like, oh, no, we need him, in the regular season day-to-day to, like, keep the spirits high and really try. And, he's a gung-ho day-to-day player that just doesn't stop. I think that's kind of just all BS. I think they brought in Russ to, like, hope that it works. And the day-to-day, I'm not sure they're a 53-plus win team. So that's one, since Andre brought up Lakers. I think they got some crap to figure out. Defensively losing, I know everyone's going to laugh, but Caruso, who's now been crushing with Chicago over there in their preseason games. And there's one more. I mean, did you know in the history of the NBA, there's never been a team that won the championship that had 12 new players all in 1 year?
I could see that.
And I think the stat is that no one's even won a conference.
Yeah.
12 new players to the roster. Like, it's going to take some time to figure out.
Speaking of chemistry,
oh no,
Nets under, I believe, what would you say, 54.5?
It's been moving down. Obviously, the Kyrie news today, which if you listen to the Matt Moore podcast I was on like 6 weeks ago, maybe it's only been a month. I said rumors Kyrie might not play at all, could just retire. Sure enough, he doesn't want to get vaccinated. He can't play home games. And the Nets came out, made a statement earlier today and said, you can't just be like a part-time player in the cities that don't care about vaccination. You're either getting vaccinated so you can be a full-time player with us or you're not playing at all. My guess is Kyrie's not playing at all, at least for the time being. You've seen the total drift from 56.5 down to 54.5. There's still 55.5s. I actually checked after I looked once to tell you. But that's one of Quan's favorites. It seems like, it makes a ton of sense. I will say this, though. Patty Mills, 6th man of the year. I don't think he's going to start. Even with Kyrie out, they're going to go with Bruce Brown, who is kind of the do-it-all, while Harden and KD are more the offense with the starting unit. Mills will come in off the bench like he did with San Antonio, but his role just increased. And by the way, you only need to come off the bench in half of the games to qualify for 6th man. Even if he starts 40 games, his numbers go up, but he still qualifies for 6th man. So there's a ton of upside. You can get 16-1, 14-1, Patty Mills 6th man. Probably my favorite futures bet of the year. We'll end with that little nugget. Very end. We got Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire Day 1. Everyone is welcome to try and play. Chance to win $25K. We're going to end this stream. We'll have a new link up, a new stream up. And by the way, if you care, you want to look and listen to anything NFT related, in 2.5 hours, 7:30 Eastern, we're going to have Peter Jennings on from Lucky Trader. They just launched today. We're going to talk about what the hell Lucky Trader is and how it can be useful to people that are digging in. That's all here at Bets TV. Talk to you guys next time.